I think we can just get started.
Okay, sounds good. Do you want to open and then?
Do you want me
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
great.
I think just so that they know.
to? Sure. All right. Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome to second semester middle school. Okay, some people are still finding their source of energy. This is our first assembly of the year. Technically, I guess we had one during intensives, but first assembly. I know we had talked last year about potentially having half sixth, half seventh, half eighth in here. We are hoping to still get there, but right now, eighth graders, you were here today. We will hopefully see what we can do by next week as it all applies to COVID regulations. So, eighth graders, pleasure to have you in the room. Seventh and sixth graders, hello from the digital realm. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Wu to get us started. Thank you for being here.
All right, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to semester 2, and again, welcome to our 8th graders. I want to first of all take a moment to acknowledge our winter intensive teachers. So we had a lot of middle school advisors teaching some upper school, intensives and some middle school intensives. And I don't know if you realize as students, but the winter intensive teachers do a whole lot of work to make sure that they make a very great learning experience during the intensive for you. And I just wanted to acknowledge how much work it took these last 3 weeks, as well as dealing with Omicron. So let's give a quick hand to everyone here. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of our non-intensive teachers for supporting all the various aspects of recess and lunch and everything like that. So thank you also to the students. I think that you made the best of what you could in terms of people having classmates or yourself go in and out of intensives. Omicron hit us in a very unexpected way, and it was perhaps a sobering reminder that we're not through the pandemic yet, even though we're trying to get back all the things that we used to do before the pandemic hit. So I just wanted to acknowledge that I remember the last time I stood in front of you was when we returned from winter break, and I said, oh, winter intensives will be a nice way to ease in, and it really was not that at all. So kind of want to acknowledge that it was kind of bumpier than what I expected. Hopefully with the return to semester 2, we'll hit a little bit of a familiar rhythm again, even though we are still grappling with some of the after effects of Omicron, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the schedule. I also want to acknowledge at this time of the year, and right now in particular, there are some social dynamics that are cropping up in middle school that we need to address, and we will be taking this week to address it. Some of you may look at me puzzled and go, I don't know what you're talking about. Some of you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So this week, for example, I will be meeting with 6th grade on Wednesday during community time, and on Friday meeting with 7th grade in community time to talk about some of the social dynamics happening in those grades specifically. But I want all of us in our division to really think about how we are treating each other, because I have started to see some little things and bigger things that are occurring more and more frequently, and I do not want that to become the norm. What I mean by that are like small things, like sometimes it's as simple like I'm saying hello to somebody and they just walk past me without saying anything. That's happening a little more frequently, right? Sometimes it's because we've got a lot of stuff in our head and we don't mean to be rude, but I think we need to pay attention to those little kindnesses. I am also seeing some very mean behavior starting to crop up, and I don't like that at all. So we will be talking about that specifically with students in grade level meetings as well as in individual meetings as well. Okay? So let's pay attention to that, because all year long I have talked about we are a very small community when it comes to these kinds of things, and so small acts of unkindness that perpetuate and keep going and are laughed, kind of dismissed oh, that's so funny, ha ha ha, we're laughing at somebody else, really becomes poisonous to a community like ours. And I don't think it's okay for us to stand by and let that happen. I don't think it's okay either when it does happen. So we will talk about that a little bit more, and some of it will involve refreshing some of the rules that we need to, kind of come to. So we'll talk a little bit about that next week and this week. Okay, but on a slightly happier note, let me just take a moment to acknowledge what the beginning of semester 2 is. First of all, for 6th graders in our Zoom audience, I wanted to let you know that if you're looking at your schedule, you will notice something odd. You will have 1 quarter of English this semester, and you'll have 1 quarter of science. What happens to the other 2 quarters? It's because during the spring intensive, you will take a really cool intensive called Deep Space 6, and that will count as your other quarter of English and your other quarter of science. And we have some very exciting teachers and an exciting experience for you. So if you're wondering about that schedule, that's what's going on there. Secondly, and I really want to take a moment, I'm glad that 8th grade is actually here in person in Founders. Semester 2 marks the last semester of your middle school time here, and I cannot believe that I'm even saying that. Sometimes I'm looking at you and I still remember you very vividly 3 years ago when you came to University Prep for the very first time and before COVID hit. So it's hard to imagine that 3 years have passed and what we have been through, but I wanted to say to you, wow, time flies, and you are going to be high school students very, very soon. So semester 2 is beginning, and it's the beginning of a longer journey ahead. So congratulations to 8th grade for that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a few moments and let's look at our modified schedule for the next couple of weeks. All right, so hopefully you'll see the slide that's on here. I just wanted to make sure that we walk through it. We're already kind of midway through the points, so just wanted to make sure that everyone is on the same page with this. So we have a modified daily schedule because Omicron is still in place, and we need to keep everybody eating outside to reduce the amount of transmission that happens here on campus. In order for us to fit 4 lunch shifts, right? 2 for middle school and 2 for upper school. It means that we have to compress kind of all the time in between our B block and C block. So what you'll see here is what we also try to retain are 70-minute periods so that we don't interrupt your learning and the curriculum for teachers in semester 2. So what you'll see up here, we'll keep the schedule for the next 2 weeks, and at the end of 2 weeks, we will reevaluate Omicron numbers and see whether we continue this for the 3rd week or longer. If not, if our numbers look really good, we might be able to revert back to our standard schedule. So some modifications you'll see here. Hopefully you can see the yellow arrows. That's where the slight differences are. Okay, as I've said, classes will remain the same length of time, 70 minutes. Instead of having your 10-minute morning snack, it's reduced now to a 5-minute passing period, but you can still get snack. Just make sure that you are not late for your B block class. Okay, and then we have 2 lunch shifts, as you've already been through. The first lunch shift is 8th grade, and then the second lunch shift are 6th and 7th grade. And then we have 2 more, actually, for upper school back in the 10s. Okay. They are shorter. They feel a little bit more compressed, right? And they are shorter because we try to maximize as much as we could those 4 lunch shifts, but we were kind of, jammed in there. So it's 25 minutes long. It's enough for you to get lunch from the commons, make it back out there and eat your lunch. So you'll just have to socialize. The plus side of this schedule is that we are able to continue having recess every day. So you will have a 25-minute recess to be able to socialize with your grade level. Okay. The recess, by the way, will continue what we did during the winter intensive. So you'll always have every day an outdoor option of going to Doll Field and doing the walking club, and we'll continue a little bit of the point system awards, and we're actually going to announce some of the award winners for the intensive period today. Otherwise, your indoor option will rotate between the library and the gym, or if you're in 6th and 7th grade, we may also occasionally have the history classrooms when the gym is closed and we need a second space. Community time is also shortened by 10 minutes, so it's 50 minutes long as opposed to an hour long. So now you'll have lunch, recess, and you'll have 50 minutes of community time. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Great. And then I just wanted to make a quick note here that today, some of you may have been confused if you were looking at a Schoology for your schedule. Please look at your Veracross for your correct schedule, if you haven't figured that out already. The reason why the Schoology schedule looks wrong is because every year we import all the student lists one time at the beginning of the year. So it usually works for semester 1. But by semester 2, sometimes there's big or small schedule changes, and so those shift in Veracross, but they don't shift in Schoology, and our teachers need to manually adjust and revise those. So give our teachers a little bit of time. They will adjust the Schoology pages, and then you will see by the middle of the week that the schedule should align. Okay? All right. I see one question, but can you hold on the question and let me get through one more slide, and then we can ask? All right, so reminders. During lunchtime, again, you're eating with your grade level, so make sure that you can mix and mingle among your grade level, but for 6th and 7th grade, please make sure you don't mingle among yourselves because it makes contact tracing really complicated that way. Secondly, during recess, we just wanted to remind you that the cell phone or tech policy applies during recess. Okay, so during recess, your phone should not be out, and we're going to do a refresher about phones and devices next Monday at Assembly. Your phone should never be out during the school day, okay? No gaming during recess. If you do need to pull out your iPad or your Chromebook to work on homework, make sure you let your teacher know, the teacher who's in the classroom or the library. Okay, and there is also no eating inside, again, because of Omicron. All right, that's it. Any other questions? Okay, can I take your question? Yeah. The question here for those in our Zoom audience is, are we ever going to eat lunch inside? My hope is yes. It would be nice to be able to eat inside, but we're not going to be able to, at least for now, with Omicron. Yeah, so continue to bring your jackets. It could be, we're due for some cold weather, possibly wet weather outside. So definitely bring those. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. Really appreciate it. And I'll hand it over now to Mr. Block. Thank you.
All right, so here is our schedule for this week. You'll notice we've added in your recess location so you can look ahead and see where you will be. We have assembly today. We're going to jump back into clubs on Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to do, because our timing is different with our 50-minute period, you'll have a 10-minute check-in in advisory before you go to clubs at 11:50, and club meetings will be 40 minutes instead of 45. Class meetings are happening on Wednesday and Friday, so you can look and see what applies to your grade level, and of course keep checking Schoology for those updates every day. And I think that's it. All right, before we get any farther, I'm going to introduce Ms. Perlis, who is going to talk a little bit about starting out semester 2 with some good organizational strategies and habits.
I gotta move this because I'm short. Hello, everyone. I'm Miss Perlis, for those of you who don't know me. I just want to talk about a couple of things, not that yet, so ignore that for a second. The first thing I want to talk to you about is destroying your planner. So you've got a whole first semester in here that you do not need. So I am recommending to you, with a recycling bin nearby, please, to go ahead and ignore this first page that has your block schedule, but then to take, and maybe the second page that has January, but basically everything up until, that has September, everything up until January, you really don't need it. It's heavy, you have to flip past it, and it's kind of going to create friction between you and using your planner if you have to do that. It's just like one more thing to make it harder. So I'm suggesting that you find a recycling bin and rip all of the pages out that you don't need, throw them on the floor, and then the best part, you're welcome, is to take a pen wiggle it in here, and you'll be able to pull all these little pieces out, and it'll be the most satisfying thing you might do the whole entire year, is pulling. Yeah, it's like flossing your planner, pulling all these little pieces out, and that way your planner weighs half as much, and you're probably twice as likely to use it. So it's a small thing, but I would recommend that you do it, and I hope as I peek into recycling bins around the school, I will see lots of old planner pages in there. And the second thing that I wanted to talk to you about is tidying up your Google Drive, or if you use an iPad, this is totally applicable for your Notability too. I did just do it for Drive, but it's the same concept, which is to create a drive where you have a folder for all of your current classes only, and that they're colored the way that you want them, and you'll notice that they say semester 2 there and the grade level that you're in. That way when you archive stuff later, you'll know what's what. So if you have a bunch of loose documents, and I'm sure you don't, because you wouldn't, right? Everything is named and in folders, but just in case it's not, clean it up, put it where it belongs, toss it if you don't want it, so that your Drive or your Notability kind of looks something like this. And then, can you go to the next slide, please? And this is an example, and this was made by a student actually, of what an archive folder looks like. So this student took every folder from semester 1, they created a folder titled Archive, they made it brown because it reminded them of a library, and then they moved everything from semester 1 into it so that it's there if they need it, but it's not something that they have to deal with visually. It's just kind of there to be there. You can decide what you want to do with it later. So I'm highly recommending that you tidy up your planner, tidy up your Notability or your Drive so that you're starting semester 2 clean and fresh. Thank you.
I'm gonna make this taller because I think it's mostly just me now. Oh, it's wrapped so tightly. Okay, that's good. Thank you so much. All right, we have a few more things to cover. First of all, clubs. There are a couple of updates to the club schedule, so you will check in tomorrow. A couple things might not be offered. But here are the clubs we are offering this week with an asterisk. Please note there are no sports clubs while we have the double lunch schedule because the upper school is using the gym during our community time block. However, you also will have access to the gym on a rotating basis and being outside, so we're hopeful that we can still give you an active option until we are back to our normal club offerings. If you are a club leader and you are interested in phasing your club out, we've had a couple clubs already fade away in the first semester. Totally normal, happens all the time. Sometimes an excitement around something fades, or maybe you want to reprioritize that time. Please shoot me an email and let me know. And along with that, if you are interested in starting a new club, I will be posting the link to the sign-up form on Schoology. So I know several of you have emailed me, have stopped me in the halls and said, hey, we want to start this club in second semester. Please fill out the form, and then I will follow up with you about making that happen. I think that's it with clubs. So continuing on to the most important club of all, Doll Club. Thank you so much. It's trademarked. All right, so we're going to wrap up Doll Club from the intensive and then talk a little bit about how it will function in this special schedule that we're in. So first of all, these are our high scores for each grade. These are points, not laps. If somebody, if Macy truly ran 115 laps over 13 days, that'd be super impressive. But these are our high scores. We had one tie in 6th grade, but these folks will be receiving some cool limited edition Doll Club merch that is currently being designed. And also, these folks will be receiving something. So these are the folks that showed up every day for Doll Club. You'll notice some of them have asterisks. We did have folks that had to be out on field trips or maybe were away for a day. The people that have an asterisk after their name were there legitimately 13 days. And if you remember that first week of intensive, there was some truly horrendous weather. So hat tip to these people. They will also be receiving some incredibly cool limited edition Doll Club merch. All right, and then finally, I think we know what's happening here, but 7th grade took the W. 6th grade put up a good fight. You tried so hard and made some progress, but couldn't quite overtake them. 8th grade, thank you for being here. But we broke 2,000 laps, which was awesome. Average daily participation was 63 with a high of 90. So thank you for being outside and getting some energy out and walking around Doll. And so 7th graders who participated in Doll Club, I will be emailing you about your prize for that grade level victory. Congratulations. So moving forward, we don't know exactly how long we'll be in this schedule, so Doll Club is now shifting to a week-by-week competition. So at the end of each week, we will have a victor. So the grade level with the highest overall point total will do top 3, and then anybody who gets the full week in will get something. So prizes will get a little smaller, but they will happen more frequently. 6th graders, maybe you can finally defeat the 7th graders. 8th graders, I don't hold any false hope that you are actually going to get super competitive about this, but you could. You're welcome to do so. So, Doll Club will continue. I hope to see you out there. Please note it's only 25 minutes, so you probably have time for 2 laps, maybe 3 if you hustle. And I think we're just going to talk about sports. Mr. Kim.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see 8th graders back in here. Schedule for the week. Middle school girls basketball has started. I know our D3 and D2 green have played. No updates on them. But for today, D1 and D2 blue have a game. So good luck to you guys. Quick reminder, D1, your bus leaves at 3:45 today. And D2 blue, you guys have an early dismissal at 2:40 today. So let your teachers know beforehand, and the bus will leave at 2:50. And we're going to be wearing gray, so that should give you guys enough time to change and grab a quick snack and head to the bus. Big announcement: middle school spring sports registrations has opened up. 8th graders, you guys might want to look into track and field based off of our Doll Club participation. We are offering middle school girls and boys ultimate frisbee, track and field, and middle school boys baseball. And I know middle school boys baseball is going to be coached by Mr. Strauss and Mr. Johnson, so that'll be exciting. You guys can talk to your guys' parents and sign up via Veracross, and then if you guys know that you guys haven't participated in sports in the past, you guys might want to get on your physical. That physical form needs to be filled out before you guys participate, and I would highly suggest you guys try to get an appointment, because I do know like clinics are all booked at the moment, so try to get that done early. Question? Girls softball. So as you know, this is my first year. I do know that we've had it in the past, but there wasn't enough participation numbers.
Softball club.
Softball club, and then we could see we can talk next year. Cool. Sounds good.
Radical indeed. I think that's it for this week. Have a wonderful first week of second semester, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.